Hello, everyone. This is Jules, and I have Naomi and Barbara here. And we are just opening our arms to you, just holding you in a big, huge hug. And we are just so honored to create this community as we all step onto the New Earth platform. And we are going to start today with a DNA activation. And I am going to be transmitting part of this activation through a sacred crystal that was on the land of the heart chakra of the earth. So if you all want to just shut your eyes and just really center yourself and just take these moments for yourself. Just letting go of any worries or thoughts that you may have going on and just honoring this sacred time as we connect to the first particle of existence and call upon the Council of Light to assist us with this DNA activation today. Just taking in a deep breath. And just seeing the living light, the rainbow light, streaming down from the first particle of existence. And it flows down through the top of your head and flows to the middle of the brain and connects to the recorder cell. And this recorder cell is connected to the DNA of your body, of your lineage, and it is connected to the first particle of existence. And to see the living light enter the recorder cell. And as each ray of light activates the recorder cell, your DNA activates with the living light. You can see it almost as little transmitters that are awakening and connecting you to the divine matrix through the first particle of existence. Just seeing the living light expand out throughout the different areas of your brain, activating higher consciousness and releasing any old programming that is no longer serving you. Just feeling the activation and clearing as your DNA is upgraded to a higher timeline, to the next level of your personal evolution. Just feeling this light bouncing around your brain, activating higher consciousness that's spatial and beyond your body, but within your body at the same time. And now I'm going to hold the crystal, just allowing this living light to flow through the crystal, and as it does, I'm going to blow, and whatever codes are available to us at this time will be flowing into your recorder cell and downloading into your DNA. And just receiving these beautiful light codes. Just the wisdom, power, and knowledge that is available to you at this time, that is perfect in alignment with each step that you are taking as you continue your journey. Each code is specific for each individual. assisting, supporting, and loving. Just feeling those codes download into the heart, to the different levels of your energy system. And we just want to thank the Council of Light and the first particle of existence for this beautiful DNA activation that we've received today. Thank you. I love you. It is done. Okay, so we're going to turn this over to Barbara, and she is going to talk a little bit about the DNA and Enoch today. So thank you, Barbara.
Thank you, Julie. I'm going to start off this program with a bit of a history of how all of this came into my, I guess you might say, into my existence this time, or that's not really a good word, but how I became, how I started this path to identifying how does our DNA connect into all of this program that we're experiencing at this point in our life. It started out basically with my son Rob, who has since passed over and is dancing with the angels. But he is still in contact with all of us and is anxious for me to get this information out there. He came up with the great idea one day, out of, as far as I could tell, the clear blue, that he wanted to do a research with on our ancestry. And I had told him stories in the past, how my mother had told me that we were kin to Daniel Boone, and I had told him the same story. So that kind of activated his curiosity. And I said, all I've got is hearsay. So anyhow, make a long story short, he started in on the process, and I joined in with him to help him with information that I had from my mom, etc. And we started following our lineage. And quite by accident, as we followed this lineage, the Boone lineage, it went to the Boones before they crossed over into America. And we continued to follow our lineage, just, okay, if this is the father and the mother, who is the father and the mother, and on down the line. And it ended up leading to how we were connected to Noah, who is my 121st great-grandfather. Jacob is my 109th great-grandfather. King Solomon, my 102nd. King David, my 98th great-grandfather. So my point is that all of us go back to Adam and Eve. But what was ironic about this was the direct lineage that led me directly to Adam and Eve, as far as the historical records could carry you. Let's put it that way. A lot of the information came from the Bible itself. So how does all of this connect, and why is that important? So I went to my guide, the Keys of Enoch, which, again, my son was very connected to, and I was very connected to. I found it back in the 80s in a bookshop there in Austin, Texas, and I was immediately drawn to it. Didn't know why. I bought it and have used it ever since. So I went to my Keys of Enoch and opened the book like I normally do and just allow the book to guide me to answer the questions I have, and it always does. And this is what I came up with. And just for reference, in case any of you do have the Keys of Enoch, it's on page 263, and it's key 210. Okay. It's quite long, so I'm not going to read the whole passage. I'm just going to read some key verses. And it starts out, the keys of the true Israel are to be found in the children of light, the remnant people in all nations, for they are all receptacles for the flame of Yahweh. Whosoever will carry the flame of Yahweh will live in a field of glory and of light, and they will be a people of people with the energy of the great rushing uprising within them, the sons of light and the great white brotherhood. This key of paradise sun creation tells us that the higher evolution is coded with the people who are known as the true Israel. This Israel is not physical, historical, or ethnic. It is the Israel of all vibratory levels of light, energy used in the programming of human consciousness. The key tells us that the true Israel is also known as the children of light. They are the children who express different light emanations, yet work with the seventh ray of creation. They are a people with one divine purpose who contend with God until victory. They are a people who are the light continually. With this light, they continually transform the material side of creation to be in accordance with the will of the Father. They do this by demonstrating the higher spiritual truths proclaimed by all people. For this reason, they are a remnant seed upon our planet, for they are remnants of the higher Adam Kadmon race sent to earth. They are scattered remnant of the mind energies of the Adamic society from other eons of time. This race was brought to earth to evolve a higher thinking intelligence and give linkage channels to new orders of evolution. Since that time, the sons of light and the great white brotherhood have sustained the true Israel throughout all generations of man. The people of light are the vessels of light in which the galactic intelligence programs itself into every biochemical unit in the human body. The people of light are the living mandala of light, with all the great religions and world philosophies depend on. They are the Zohar race, who educate the species to go beyond the consciousness of death with the freedom of the spirit to fulfill the Father's program of eternal life. The people of light are the materializations of higher evolutionary thought forms, which have greater counsel and direction to the great creative purge of materialism. They are the true Israel that prepares the people of God to go into one higher manifestation of Yahweh, into the higher evolutionary programs of creation. Therefore, O brethren of light, do listen to this entreaty and understand that we have the day of resurrection at hand, and that we must all be prepared to enter into the arms of our brothers when they descend in flames and in great rushings of glory to collect us. Be lifted with joy each day and stand in residence on that great day of graduation. So, as you can see, that information there really ties into us moving and transforming so that we can move onto the new platform of the new earth. And it describes it beautifully from the beginning to the end, and how we're all connected, and how the brothers and sisters of light have made a commitment to bring this transformation to fruition, and how our DNA is coded from the time that the human race began on this earth plane or three-dimensional reality, how that has all been passed down generation to generation through our DNA coding. So to me, it was like the answer to why Rob and I, or basically Rob, started this journey, because he wanted to know, and he knew somehow that this information was important to tie all the ends and pieces together. And even those who have not done the ancestry, work, I know that all of the light beings, the people who are walking the light path, the sisters and brothers of light, we're all connected by our DNA, because it ties the physical into the spiritual. And it gives us purpose and reason and understanding of how all of this works together on all these different levels. So, you have any questions?
Gosh, Barbara, as you were talking, it was so, I'm like getting chills just everywhere. But I just had this this vision, and I can remember, I think there's a place in my book I talk about it, but how we'll move through 5 bodies of light. And it was almost as though I could see like the extension of each person, but as everyone was extending into their different bodies of light, they all, I don't know, you could see it like almost like a pyramid where everybody was around the pyramid, and everyone was bodies of light were entering the top of the pyramid. And so it was like as we ascend, like, and through the different dimensions, that we all end up in the same exact place, but you could like reverse that and have it be, over the lineage, how we all came from this point. And what it did for me is it kind of took away all the timeline, is because it was all existing at one moment, and so there wasn't any time lapse between the beginning and now. It's like more spherical somehow, but I could just feel it in my body as you were talking. So it was really interesting. So I don't know what my question necessarily is, but if you have some more information regarding maybe what I'm talking about.
Well, let me see. Having to do with the subject matter, having to do with those souls, let's say, that came, volunteered to come to the earth plane to assist in the evolutionary process of those beings who are caught up in the karmic cycle. This is what I'm seeing as our connection. And as far as how it's connecting with your vision, I'm seeing that as being the light or the sons and daughters of light who chose to come here and to assist mankind into understanding the higher teachings and evolutionary process, and to release them from the karmic cycle that they've gotten into, would be gathering together and enlightening those people so that they can break free of their karma and evolve through the pyramid of light.
I love that. It's what else is funny that just now I just remembered is there was a download or some information that I got, and this was, I think we were actually on the sacred lands when this information came through, but it said that all these codes were placed in our DNA, and like each person holds a sacred code, and the codes were all given to different sets of DNA so that if one of them was lost, the information or the coding of returning to unity consciousness, or to Christ consciousness, however you want to say it, or returning to the God particle, wouldn't be lost. If one of them got destroyed, the other codes would know how to link. And so how each one of us is so important, because we each hold a sacred code of returning to unity consciousness. And something that you just said just triggered that in me, and I totally forgotten it. But I feel like the activation today, when I was blowing through the crystal, and I knew that each person was receiving a different code through that, and I just feel like this is all just linking together. It's super cool. Naomi, did you have a question or something to say about that?
Well, could we take this time and visualize the pyramid of light, and each person put their hand on it and ask for their sacred code to be activated? And if we go beyond time and space, we can go to the moment where everyone's codes are activated. And I'm just getting a really strong feeling of energy from my third eye into my heart right now.
I feel that as well, and I feel almost just like this wave of energy just running through my body.
As we connect to these codes and reactivate them, basically they're already there, like you said, but as we reactivate them and connect by our own intentions, the light is going to be so strong and so prevalent that it's going to really speed up everyone else's activation. So the more of us that can understand and intend on activating that code of light to move forward with our progression into our light bodies, the stronger it's going to become. It's kind of like some people say, if we all meditate together, thousands of people, how strong that is. It's the same thing, only even more so. So, yeah, that's a very good place to put our intentions. Yeah.
And can we go a step further and ask that we are a channel of this divine grace with all these beautiful codes that are so sacred?
And at this time, I'm not sure why this is coming in right now, but because it is, I'm going to go ahead and say it out loud. But that as, we take in these higher frequencies and activate these sacred codes, that any energies of resistance or the energy pattern that I'm recognizing in myself is that of let me try to identify it here. I think what it is, it's that like as these higher frequencies are coming in, it's reprogramming that primal part, and I feel just like a little bit of resistance of moving in to this higher frequency or change. So I just want to ask to just release that primal instinct to be afraid of change at this time, so we can really open up and be that channel of grace without resistance.
That felt really good, and now my whole body is almost feeling like a river that's flowing strong.
I feel that too, and that's why I like it. Before I just felt like these little ripples of waves going through me, and now I just feel like all this, I don't know, like the word I want to put to it is glory. And didn't you have a word come in, Naomi, that you were talking about, that you had a download of a word? What was the word?
I did. The word was liberation, and I just got a message to ask the Council of Light to download us with how it to resonate with feeling liberated and go beyond time and space to where we are liberated 100% in this light, and actually call in our star frequency and let it fill our body, and then feel this frequency almost like our hands are points of the star, and feel the frequency of liberation go to every part of your star. And as we are a liberated people, we liberate others.
I feel so much freedom in that. It's amazing.
Yes, me too. I'm feeling like very peaceful and very centered, and like nothing else matters. You know, it's just existing in the now and being at peace. Nothing else in my mind, just blank. There's something I'd like.
Oh, go ahead, Barbara.
Well, go ahead if you have something else you want to say on that subject.
Just one thing. My physical body is feeling very light.
Yes. Yes. What I was going to say is that I wanted to share something with you guys, and it just goes to prove what we're all talking about here and the connection that we all have. But it had to do with these guys who were in prison, and they had a program, and it was training wild Mustangs, and it was so beautiful because these guys were so lost. And they just didn't know what to do. They were confused. They were lost. They were acting out all this frustration and anger. And when they joined this program, and it was completely, their choice to join, but when they joined this program, none of them had any experience with horses. And this guy who was teaching them how to interact with this wild animal, it was just miraculous, because as they were working, this one guy in particular, you could tell his heart was closed off totally. He was in total fear and denial. He didn't know what to do. He couldn't take instruction. He was scattered. And as this horse whisperer worked with this guy and talking to him just like he would work with the horse in the same manner, this guy, you could see his heart opening up and him starting to trust, because he had never had trust. And so as he finally got to the point, he was scared to touch the horse, but the horse whisperer was telling him, as soon as you touch that horse, you bond with that horse. And as soon as he touched that horse, it was something that happened, and you could see it. And that horse looked at him, and he looked at that horse, and he was immediately bonded, just like immediately. And from that point on, him and that horse was one. And that is what we need to learn from animals, how when you open your heart, you touch an animal and you become one with that energy. And that is our purpose here, is to open our hearts and reach out and touch the hearts of those people who need to open their heart in order to receive the light and move on and break the bonds of karma.
So could we create a frequency and gift it to all those who live in separation of God? So that they may know what it feels like to resonate in unity consciousness.
Yes, we can offer that frequency for anyone who wants to receive it. Beautiful. One thing it taught me by watching this, one thing it taught me when I observed this program I was watching is that horse was just as scared and just as lonely and just as fearful as the person who was trying to make contact with him. And the beauty of when two people come together or two energies come together, how that releases the both of them from the entrapment that they're in. And that's the beauty of it.
Oneness.
That's right. Manifested right in front of your eyes. And you understand when you see that, what that means and how that is transferred. And you transfer love as well as anger, hate, and all the other things. So it really brings to home how important it is for us to monitor our emotions and our feelings, because we transfer that just as well as we transfer energy and love.
That's lovely. I love that.
Well, that's all I have for my little portion of the program. And, yeah.
Thank you, Barbara. That was
You're
really
welcome.
great. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Naomi?
No, I'm just feeling so good, and I'm just so honored to just be in the Starcaster community and create this beautiful new earth.
Yes, me as well. Thank you.
Wow. Yes, this was like such powerful energy coming in, and so I guess let's just all like kind of visualize the pyramid and the rainbow light, and just really connecting to that living light and that space of oneness, and just kind of close with connecting to this frequency and bringing it throughout our day and all the way through the week until we meet again. So just breathing that in. Just lovely. And I am just going to send you all just so much love from my sacred heart until next week. Namaste.
Namaste.